If you remember my last video on this topic, you will know that I've said that Dominic Alexander, the current media rep, I guess you would say. I don't know how you would describe his role in the Carmelo Anthony family, but he's a scumbag. Dominic Alexander is a fucking scumbag. And Sarah Fields here on X has pretty thoroughly exposed his bitch ass. Now, it's not breaking news that he has a criminal record. He kind of admitted that himself. In one of the article that I read on New York Post last week. But it's his criminal record is long, and he has done some fucked up shit. Okay, this is way worse than I thought. Dominic Alexander is a way bigger scumbag than I thought he was. I think that it's in the best interests of the Anthony family to completely cut ties with him. I'm just saying, he is a garbage human being, as we will go over reading this X thread. Like I said, shout out to Sarah Field. Follow her on X at Sarah is censored. SarahHiscensored. You see her on the screen. Anyway. New breaking exclusive: corruption in Carmelo Anthony's defense and advocacy. Yeah, advocate. There we go. Advocate. I couldn't think of the word to, this is the Paul Heyman to to Carmelo Anthony's Brock Lesnar. Carmelo Anthony's newly hired attorney, Kim T. Cole, is general counsel to the Next Generation Action Network Foundation. NGAN is a BLM supporting 501c3 that, based on a full investigation, has brought in six figures, yet has filed a total of only two IRS reports since its inception in 2014. According to federal law, 501c3s are required to file annual returns of their income and expenses with the IRS. Records also show that the organization received a grant from another entity called Good Work Dallas with the same registered address, which can indicate alleged money laundering. So yeah, they're two different organizations using the same exact address are giving each other money, basically. And that's, like I said, that's something that you see in money laundering cases. So. They have also repeatedly opened new 501c organizations, 3 and 4, under slightly different names, and when their status is revoked for lack of financing filing, or when pressure is placed on them to file, they start a new entity. This leaves room for money to disappear. This involves multiple federal EINs, state recognition, and missing entities in between the years that each 501c has begun. The fraudulent foundation is run and was founded by Dominique Alexander, Carmelo Anthony's, quote, family advocate, and a known felon with a history of fraud, forgery, corruption, woman battery, and a conviction for child abuse. Yes, Anthony family, this is the man you want representing you in the press. This absolute garbage human being. I'm not saying alleged on the child abuse part. He was convicted of that shit. Dominic also has a history of provoking violent protesting, arriving at people's private homes to protest, and intimidating jurors. Dominic was also responsible for the protest in Dallas that ended with Micah Johnson's gunfire and 5 officers dead. Carmelo Anthony's newly hired attorney, Kim T. Cole, is also Dominique's attorney. Funny how that works. She represents the organization, the Next Generation, what the fuck's it called? Next Generation Action Network. She represents them. She represents him personally, and now she represents Carmelo Anthony. In a recent press conference, Dominic Alexander spoke as Carmelo's advocate, stating that the bond was too high and defended the argument of self-defense. He said that Carmelo's family was dealing with racism and bigotry. Meh, probably not. Not as much as you'd think. He stated this phrase about a dozen times. When asked about the knife carried by Carmelo, he justified Carmelo's right to hold the knife by comparing his case to Zimmerman and Kyle Rittenhouse. He then told a blatant falsehood and said that Austin Metcalf's brother said in a media interview that Carmelo Anthony told Austin Metcalf, "Don't put your hands on me." Not only were these words never stated, but the arrest report relays that the exact words were, "Put your hands on me and see what happens." So yeah, he's just lying. He's just lying in the media. He's trying to spin things to make Karmelo Anthony look like a goodest boy who didn't do nothing wrong. This lie served to agitate protesters, create a narrative to cause more divisiveness, and provoke more inflammatory racist behavior. The photo on the left here is one of his mugshots. And this is a picture of him with Jasmine Crockett. She's been in the news a lot recently. Small fucking world, isn't it? In these presser videos, first was his response when asked about the knives. Second was his falsehood about statements made.
Karmelo Anthony from the beginning.
Shit. Just a second.
Has continued to display his self-defense claim, and I believe that in America, I always tell this, and I'm just going to speak truth to power in this situation. It is crazy that America tells us to accept the self-defense claim of George Zimmerman, Kyle Rittenhouse, and so many other people. But when the shoe is on the other foot, that claim is absurd. And I just gotta call a spade a spade. No matter what my personal views of a case may be, it is quite contradicting for America to come back and say, oh, Kyle Rittenhouse can have it, George Zimmerman can have it. All of these individuals that don't look like the color of my skin can't have it.
George Zimmerman wasn't white, you stupid fuck.
In the state of Texas, we live in a state where yet you can walk around with a permitless carry. You can walk around with a brass knuckles. You can walk around with a knife. You can walk around with all these things. AK-47 in the state of Texas. And then as soon as you see a black person exercise those rights, we now have a problem.
No punches were thrown. This is according to the police report. No punches were thrown. No brawl started. Nothing happened. He escalated from harsh words to stabbing someone in the heart. Okay? This is not self-defense, you fucking cunt.
And
to compare it to Kyle Rittenhouse, he literally had a gun put to his head by Gage Grosskreutz. Like, fuck off.
That's not me spitting hate or race or bigotry. That's the facts. In an interview that I know that any prosecutor that got a hold of this case wouldn't have never wanted the brother of Austin Metcalf to do is say what he said on the news. And it is clear. It is clear. In his own words, he stated that Karmelo Anthony said, "Don't put your hands on me."
It's not what he said.
That's it.
It's not what he said.
All we hear. Certain things were loosely said. There was loosely said. There were certain things that was loosely said in that interview that I just point people to. I don't want to ignite things or try
yes, you do.
Speak for his legal defense or whatever it may be, but he stated, y'all, and the hate that was given regarding this case, the bias, that's what has us here today.
Did y'all notice that he can't fucking talk? Like self-defense, Hunter Metcalf. Like he can't speak. He's like he doesn't seem like a particularly smart person. He also is just a fucking liar, just a complete liar. Anyway, this is more about his action committee thing. They have collected funds in the sum of six figures, but they've participated in what is known as 501c bouncing. When they don't file with the IRS, they've only filed twice with the particular foundation they're using now. Status revokes, a new one is started. Yeah, see, this is Next Generation Action Network Community Development Corporation, Next Generation Action Network Foundation, Next Generation Action Network Foundation of Texas. They just keep changing the name slightly. Next Generation Action Network Community Development Corporation. Auto revocation list. Organizations whose federal tax exempt status was automatically revoked for not filing a Form 990 series return or notice for 3 consecutive years. Yes, this is one of the versions of the Next Generation Action Network getting their shit revoked because they, didn't do what they were supposed to do. Here's more. Name Next Generation Action Network Foundation. I'm not going to read the EIN number. You can pause and see it yourself. Um, Explanation. The organization was unaware of the filing requirements and due date, as well as the need to keep adequate books and records on the ongoing basis, and thus have resolved to undertake the Form 990 each year within 90 days after the end of the fiscal year. In addition, each quarter, our board will review the IRS website and exempt organizations update to ensure that no changes have occurred in regard to our annual compliance requirements. That's what they wrote, but then they never did anything like that. And then this is for a nonprofit, they've generated a lot of stuff. More on Dominic Alexander. Dominic Alexander has a violent past. About 5 years before Dominic Alexander founded Next Generation Action Network, he was arrested for causing serious bodily injury to his girlfriend's 2-year-old son. Alexander pled guilty to the charge in 2011 and was sentenced to probation. That's all you get for beating the shit out of a child. Apparently, is just a little bit of probation. However, he reportedly violated the terms of his probation multiple times, leading to the judge to sentence him in 2016 to 5 years in prison. The judge counted this time spent on probation as part of the sentence, so Alexander only spent 8 days behind bars for the offense, according to the Dallas Morning News. Ain't that some shit? In 2017, Alexander was indicted on felony theft charges related to a 2016 business dispute in Denton County. The charges were enhanced because of a previous conviction for forgery. He pled guilty and was sentenced to 2 days in jail with credit for time served. Think about that. He just keeps dodging time. He just never does any time. Alexander has also allegedly shoved and headbutted his longtime partner, Kiara, or Kiira. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Kiira Saunders. He was subsequently indicted for continuous violence against the family, but those charges were dropped in 2021. So whatever. DMN reports. He has also reportedly been convicted of evading arrest and making a false police report. He has been said by a close associate to have anger issues and has repeatedly been accused of abusing women. In a recent incident, he interrupted a press conference with Dallas City Hall and angrily confronted Dallas Police Association President Mike Mata.
Dallas County grand jury has indicted a civil rights activist. Dominique Alexander, the founder of the Next Generation Action Network, was indicted today on a charge of continuous violence against the family. That's a third-degree felony. He was arrested back in April after his girlfriend, Kiara Saunders, told police Alexander assaulted her. However, in an affidavit filed before today's indictment, Saunders says she doesn't want any part of the prosecution and won't testify. Dallas County.
Yeah, that's a very common thing to happen. A man will beat the shit out of his woman, and then she'll call the cops on him, and then she recants later on or says she doesn't want to be a part of it. She won't testify against him. Blah 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 blah. Here's Kinty Cole. SNO. This is looks like Facebook. Um, SO to, I'm not sure what SO means, but to Next Generation Action Network, this is so necessary at this point. 100, Dominique Alexander. Dallas County inmates NGAN filed lawsuit against jail amid COVID-19 concerns. Yep, see, she's directly involved. Kim T. Cole and Allison uh, Grinter Allen. I'm not sure who that is, but probably obviously another lawyer. But thank you, my sister. But credit goes to NGA and staff and members and our awesome attorneys. Yep. Dominic Alexander's attorney, Kim Cole, told WFAA that he's been issued 2 misdemeanor citations of assault and is being held on 10 outstanding warrants. 10 warrants. His supporters are now marching at the Dallas County Jail. Activist Dominic Alexander, others detained following incident at the Dallas Walkway campaign. Walkaway. Yep, they're here like Kim T. Cole. So yeah, she's been involved with him for years. Dominic Alexander worked on Democrat DA John Cruzat's campaign. Cruzat is a district attorney responsible for the releasing of confessed killer and Mexican illegal alien who killed a man in Dallas in 2022 by stabbing him 7 times and set his corpse on fire. The illegal received 0 prison time despite pleading guilty to manslaughter. Instead, he was released into the community by the 265th District Court. Yep, see, there's Dominic Alexander, and yeah. There he is again. This is the full picture. Guess who we found downstairs? Attorney extraordinaire Nigel Redmond and Trey Black. Minister Dominic Alexander. He's not a minister, by the way. And the Democratic nominee for Dallas County District Attorney Judge John Cruzat. But anyway, the organization has not filed a tax statement in 4 years. They have bounced from 501c to 501c. Why is this organization contracted with Dallas ISD? Teaching children a course on financial responsibility.
But it gives you a sort of like an idea of how you subtract your deductions, right?
And one thing I learned today is it's all about the principles of you saving your money and invest your money.
Yeah, so these people are frauds, but then they're teaching kids about how to, properly handle money. But yeah, the Next Generation Action Network Foundation Incorporated, advertising and marketing. Interesting. They're considered an advertising and marketing firm. Not a, not like a political action committee or any kind of, whatever. They're advertising and marketing. Interesting how that works. Anyway, she ends with, this is an ongoing investigation. We have barely touched the surface. I currently have several consultants looking over findings and the foundation itself. I want to thank FFA family for hard work and assistance with digging up some of this info, as well as that'll purdy salty. That'll purdy salt. Whatever, dude. Look, there it is. Pause it, and there you go. But anyway, as well as Purdy Salty for making me aware of this information, encouraging us to go down the rabbit hole. And then we have, the full arrest report of Carmelo Anthony. Yeah, then she's got links and stuff, for all this. Then, of course, here's a screenshot of Dominique Alexander's X account where he describes himself as a minister. He is not a minister. He's not. As far as anybody knows, he is not ordained anywhere. Minister of Justice is how he describes himself. He's not a minister. He is a fucking fraud. He's a fraud. He's a career criminal. All that shit. He's a dog shit human being, and he really should not be representing the Anthony family at this time. He's only going to make things worse for them, I think, at least in the court of public opinion. This is not going to go over well for them. Anyway, that's all I have for now. Feel free to let me know, how you think, like what you think below. And then tomorrow I'm going to read the full arrest report of Karmelo Anthony, just to kind of as the follow up to this video. But anyway, if feel free to comment below. Let me know what you think. Like the video, sub, follow my links, sub to all my other channels. Check out Clown World Chronicles, my podcast. An edited version of the podcast goes on YouTube. The full unedited podcast is on Rumble, where I stream it, and also on BitChute. So, follow the links, sub everywhere, and watch the podcast, and, do all the algorithm stuff for me. Throw me a bone.